you're hiking Mount Everest, but look how far we've made it already. And look at the view. It looks a lot better than down there. And look how far we've come.
Hey, my name is Felix Tia, and I'm the host of Shopify Masters, a weekly podcast powered by Shopify, the easiest way to sell online, in person, and anywhere in between. Each week, we invite entrepreneurs like you to share what they've learned growing successful e-commerce businesses. In this episode, you'll learn how they've stepped up their influencer marketing to work with celebrities, why he invested millions of dollars of his own money into his company, and how he got retailers calling him to carry his products. Today I'm joined by Josh Snow from Snow. Snow is the #1 selling teeth whitening system guaranteed to work on all smiles. We're started in 2016 based out of Phoenix, Arizona, and is projected to hit $100 million in revenue since inception. Welcome, Josh.
Hey, thanks so much, Felix. Appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, excited to have you on. And I wanted to really talk to you because you've already had plenty of self-made success before launching the Snow brand. So tell us about your past. Like, where did you come from?
Yeah, so I kind of stumbled into entrepreneurship, maybe like a lot of others. And I wanted to be a doctor growing up. And I kind of stumbled into entrepreneurship because I was 13, 14 years old. And, I wanted to work. I wanted to get a job, and, I couldn't really find a job because I was under the working age. And, I was hanging out at the public library, where obviously there are computers and books. And so there was a reading competition, and I started reading the For Dummies series. And I had always been interested in computers, and I was really good at typing because I had a weird hobby growing up. When I would watch cartoons and stuff as a kid, my mom brought home an extra keyboard from her work, and I would literally type out, transcribe like cartoons and like shows I was watching. And I just did it for fun, and I got really good at typing, which ended up lending itself toward learning web development when I was 13, 14 years old, because I kind of realized instead of playing games, I wanted to make games. And instead of playing out websites, I wanted to make them. And I got really, really hooked on creating websites. I never knew that you could make money from it. I never knew that was what I was going to do. But once I started creating websites for fun, and then, teachers would see me staying after school working on websites, they started saying, hey, my friend who owns a bakery, or my friend who owns a auto repair shop needs a website. And this was before Shopify, when things were a lot more difficult, a lot harder to get started with the websites. But I didn't know any better. I was 14 years old, and they offered me $500 to make a website, and I said, heck, I could use the money. I was trying to save up to get my first car, and so I started making websites as a teenager, and then I couldn't stop. All I could think about while I was in school was building the next website, and then eventually I stumbled into e-commerce because clients wanted to sell their products, through their website. And so I started to learn about that whole world, and kind of never looked back.
Got it. So you started learning about e-commerce, started to get exposed to it. What about e-commerce hooked you, like the way learning about computers or playing on the computer hooked you to creating websites?
Initially, I was really excited by eBay because every time my family needed something, I would say, hey, before we go to the store and buy it, I think I could save us some money if I find it on eBay, in the earlier days of Amazon and all that. So I love the vast catalogization of the internet and being able to find very specific parts and pieces and all that. And so I kind of became the Dexter for the family and for the neighborhood, where I was like, hey, Josh, fix my computer. Hey, Josh, I'm looking for this part. Can you find it online? And so I love being able to find whatever I wanted online, and generally at a discount. And then just the magic of ordering something in seconds, and then a few days later it shows up at your house. And it's just that magic of click, click, boom, it's there, was really, really exciting. And then being able to see my clients early on transform their businesses. They had zero online sales, like an auto repair, selling, parts for Ford cars and GM, et cetera, being able to eventually outpace their offline growth. And these were like 20, 30-year-old businesses, and they were outpacing their growth through their website without having to have a storefront. And that was really exciting. Seeing the transformation of offline to online really got me excited, made me think about how many other things could be sold online and how can we make that experience better and better for the customer.
Got it. So we've only, talked about the things that have gone right so far on your path. What are some of the challenges during this path of creating websites, to transitioning to e-commerce through eBay, to then eventually working and building e-commerce websites? What are some of the challenges that you faced along the way that maybe had you second guessing if you're on the right path or not?
I think the first thing was generating traffic, generating sales and getting people to the website. That was tough because I started off with $100. That's all I had, to my life savings. And so the only thing that and I went and read every book I could. I went on YouTube and I went on forums trying to figure out how can I get more people to my website and how can I get more people to my clients' websites. And, AdWords and all these other things, paid advertising was around. The only thing that stood out to me was search engine optimization, SEO, because that was something that I could do for free. And I said, okay, I guess I got to become the best at SEO because I can't afford to do anything else. And that ended up becoming an incredible blessing because I had to, by necessity, become really, really good at it. And it turned out that not many people were really good at and I'm generalizing, but at least in my area, not many people could do SEO at the level that I could. And that meant that I could generate, potentially millions of dollars of sales for clients with effectively $0 in ad cost. And then I could replicate those strategies and test them on my own stuff. So that was a low cost way. It just took my time. So the struggle in the beginning was how do we get people to the website? And then eventually, how do we get, how do we create that customer experience so they keep coming back? So it kind of trickled down. But I would say, and it's never left me. That challenge is still every time I start a business is like, which channel? Is it Facebook ads? Is Snapchat ads? Pinterest? Which channel mix is going to be most effective for this business? And, what is the most affordable, at the stage of the business to try out and try to conquer? But SEO is something I figured out early on, and that allowed me to eventually get into paid media where things really took off.
Got it. So let's talk about the time frame. So between the time that you were first building websites to the first time you opened your own online business, what was that time frame?
Yeah, it's a good question. So I was 13, 14 when I started creating blogs and then creating websites. And, by 15 or 16, I was working for a bunch of different clients. And it was easy to get clients through word of mouth because, everyone was talking about this, teenager who could make a website in a weekend, for a fraction of the cost. So that great value really spread the word. And this was in 2007 to 2010 when a lot of small businesses were realizing they had to have their own websites and they really wanted to sell their products online as opposed to just having an online brochure, like just a basic website. So it was really good timing for a lot of these businesses to want to get online. And that was during, when I was 13 to 16 is when I was really learning a lot about web development, web design. I remember I couldn't afford Photoshop early on or InDesign or any of the Adobe tools. So I remember downloading, a pirated copy of it, and then it kind of messed up my computer. But I was like, at least I'm able to, I couldn't afford the $500 or whatever it was initially. And I remember it messing up my computer. I was like, okay, the first thing I'm doing is buying, an authentic version of Photoshop so this doesn't happen again. But I had to learn all that stuff. So by the time I was 16, though, I realized that I wanted to start doing some of my own stuff on the side, mostly because the clients were a lot more risk averse. They didn't, I would tell them about a new technique or a new strategy. And they were like, it sounds great, Josh, but, does it work? And I'm like, I don't know, but I think it will work. So I knew I needed my own projects on the side as a test bed before rolling things out to clients. And little did I know those side projects ended up becoming massive because there was no red tape. I could just do whatever I wanted on there and cutting edge techniques and things I was thinking about. And so that was 16. That's the 16 to 20 range is when those things started to take off.
What was that first side business that turned into something massive where it was totally eclipsing the kind of revenue and income that you're making from these clients?
Well, I started a couple review websites, and it's funny because I wasn't an avid reader or an avid writer at the time. But once I realized I could make money from it, um, then it's funny how that works. All of a sudden, I became a super avid reader and
Hmm.
super diligent writer, and so I started creating these review websites on software products, on technology, on iPhone accessories, and all this stuff. And I found out about Google AdSense first, and I remember making a few pennies a click, and then eventually I found out about about affiliate marketing, and then I started to take on my clients and say, how about you just pay me a percentage of all the sales that come online? 0% of your sales come from the internet right now. I won't charge you anything. I'll do all the work for free, and then you just cut me in on whatever comes in online. But I started to see my side project and side deals start to take off because there was a snowball effect to SEO, and the more content I was creating, the better I was getting at SEO. And then I was reinvesting the money I was making from my clients. First, I bought Photoshop. Then I bought a computer, my own computer. That was really the first computer we had in the house. Then, internet access, and then my first car, and it kind of started to snowball from there. And before I knew it, I said, wow, if I had 10 of these websites, and then it wasn't just me writing content. I went to odesk.com, which is now Upwork, and Elance and freelancer.com, and started hiring other writers and training them how to write for me so that I could focus on SEO. And then eventually I started hiring an SEO team in India, Pakistan, Philippines, even the US, because I was in school. I was in school from 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. football practice. So I literally went to Google and searched how to hire people online and found the freelancing economy. And I started to build my own team to not only help with the client projects, but also to help with my side projects, which really started to take off. The affiliate revenue, started to skyrocket. And I literally was just at school all day sleeping, and the websites were growing and growing and growing. And then I found a marketplace called SitePoint, which is now Flippa, where I could sell these websites. So I was like, whoa, I could build something from scratch. I can have my team work on it, get the revenue up, and then I could sell it for a revenue multiple. And I started getting really good at flipping those websites that I was creating. And that's when things started to really take off, where I was like, I think I could make a lot more money doing these side projects. But at the same time, my client business also started to take off because we switched from just website design and development when it was just me to advertising management. So we started managing millions of dollars. And I say we, it was still me locally, no office, but I had maybe 20 freelancers who were working online for me through Skype, managing SEO. We started to charge $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month to some clients for SEO projects, managing millions of dollars of AdWords spend. And then obviously Facebook started to creep up in there and managing that spend. So that started to also take off. So it was a constant battle of which side could make more money, my side projects or my main project, which was helping build the businesses for my clients.
That's amazing. I think what one theme that I'm hearing from this that you seem to have either never encountered or you can smash right through it is this hesitation that entrepreneurs have to look for permission or look for why do I deserve or why would someone hire me? Why do I deserve this kind of success? But you just kind of kept on going 100 miles per hour and not even stopping to consider that. Is that true? Like, did you ever think like, why would, if someone hired 15-year-old, 16-year-old, 17-year-old to manage millions of dollars of ad spend?
Oh gosh, Felix. By the way, my middle name is Felix. I don't know if I mentioned that.
That's funny. Nice.
My grandfather's name is Felix. Anyway, oh gosh, I thought of that every day. I was so, and that eventually led to Snow, because in the very beginning, I was like 6 feet tall by the time I was 12 years old, and that's what made me good with football and basketball and stuff. I was a bigger guy, but I was like, what can I do when I meet a client in person to make me seem older? Like the scariest thing for me was if someone asked how old I was, because now I think it's a general, it's well known, I guess, that it's okay for younger people. You see executives and billionaire CEOs like Mark Zuckerberg and Evan Spiegel from Snapchat being in their 20s. That wasn't normalized back then. It was still, 50, 60-year-old executives running internet companies. And so that was scary for me. I was so ashamed most of my life. And I wish I could take that back. I eventually broke that limiting belief, but it was like, oh my gosh, I'm 15, 16 years old. Like, there's no way I could ask for $5,000 for a website. Like, they're not going to pay that. I have to handicap my price because of my age and blah, blah, blah. And so I would deepen my voice on the phone, and, I would whiten my teeth so that my teeth were whiter when I smiled on my first impression. And, I'd bring my briefcase and I'd dress up. And what I realized, though, is that over time, the work started to speak for itself. And the more that I became myself, showing up in jeans and just really sinking into that of who I really was, people just felt more comfortable hiring me and working with me, because like, this guy, he's not putting up a show. He's not telling me something that I don't feel that he can deliver on. He always delivers. So being consistent on your integrity and your follow through, and then just kind of settling into that helped. But yeah, I would say what helped a lot for me was reading and watching stories of, the Forbes list, for example, just to be like, look at these, huge success stories. They must have started with a silver spoon, or they must have had some secret or leg up, and realizing that, a lot of them didn't. A lot of them were self-made. A lot of them started in even worse positions than I did. And that helped push me through a lot of dark days where I was doubting myself. Even going to university, being the first in my family to go to university, and sitting there in the honors college at Arizona State University, I still had those limiting beliefs of like, hey, can you do this? Are you aiming too high? Or, are you being greedy? Or, all these things. And then the imposter syndrome of, am I really good enough to do this? And I will be honest with you and candid that every once in a while, those thoughts still come in my mind. And, as you aim higher and higher and higher, and now we're aiming at, disrupting a massive industry, it's like, can we do this? But then I'm constantly reassured by our customers, our team, our track record, and kind of entrepreneurs get so focused on the future and living in the future that it's hard to enjoy the present and be proud of the past, because we're so future oriented that we're never happy with the status quo. And so learning how to become happy and say, look, I'm 16 years old and I'm making $5,000 for a website, and the client's happy and referring more business. Like, this is amazing. And so I had to learn how to tell myself that over and over again, and reading those stories of from rags to riches, so that it started to shatter those limiting beliefs little by little.
Yeah, I think a part of it is this fear too, that if you enjoy the present too much, you're too happy with the results that you have, it takes away from that fire, from that hunger. But have you seen that to be true? Because especially I want to get your advice specifically because you've had so much success and you had strings of success. Has looking at life that way, has that slowed down the potential progress, and is that okay?
Well, I think it's okay to take a breather sometimes. Initially I remember getting started and I was like, okay, if I can just make enough money, I won't have to work at McDonald's. Like, that was the initial thought. Was like, that was like, if I can make, $10 an hour, break it down, then I don't have to work a quote unquote normal job as a teenager. Then it was like, okay, if I make enough money, maybe I don't have to go to college. That was kind of the next thing. And maybe I have the strength to tell my parents the confidence that I don't want to be a doctor. And because I wanted to go in the medical field, because I wanted to make good money to help my family out. And I wanted to help people. I wanted to genuinely help people. When I realized that I could help people through the internet, through business, and I could make a decent living doing it and create an opportunity and create jobs for other people, then I was like, wait a second, it checks all the boxes. What's wrong with, being vocal about the fact that I want to be an entrepreneur? And I didn't even know what that was, but like, I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I don't know where it'll take me, but I love it so much and I'm helping people. I just want to keep doing it. And so I think that taking a breather, you can certainly, I went through a delayed burnout period when I was, I think, 21 years old, after selling a company and just kind of feeling like I had lost my purpose. Like I was so used to, I graduated at 20 years old. So I came in with no credits, and I was taking 22 credits a semester, finishing up my honors thesis my freshman year, running my business from my dorm room, taking calls all day long. Like I had so much going on. And then I graduated college at 20 years old. So all of a sudden I could work 16 hours a day. So I did that. Then when I sold my business, I wasn't working 16 hours a day anymore. And I kind of like realized that the pursuit was my happiness. And there wasn't like this number, or like if I hit this number, I'll be happy. Or if I hit, something. I realized that for me, that was arbitrary, and it really had nothing to do with a number. It had to do with my passion, my purpose, and helping people, impacting people, and creating opportunities. So for me, taking a breather, I think is very natural to say, wow, look at where we're at and look at what we're doing. Yes, there's so much more to go, but stop and smell the roses. Look at the view. You're hiking Mount Everest, but look how far we've made it already. And look at the view. It looks a lot better than down there. And look how far we've come. And I think that also invigorates the endurance you need, because I realized that if you want to build something that's around for 50 years, or you want to build something that's truly impactful on a global scale, or you just want to build something that truly makes an impact on your life long term, it's a marathon. It's not a race. You're racing the marathon. Sure, maybe that's part of it, but it really is a marathon. You have to pace yourself, and you have to know when to sprint and when not to. And I'm still figuring that out, but I certainly have gotten a lot better with mental balance. I'm happier than I've ever been in my life. We are doing better than we've ever done before. And I think that goes to speak to how I structure the culture for myself in my own mind, and then how I try to share that with the team so that everybody's not working 24 hours a day, or, saying we're a startup and startup culture and work 18 hours a day till you burn out. It's very much, like, especially now we're in the space that we're in, it's like, hey, people are going to have teeth for the next 50 years, we believe. And we believe that, yellow teeth or stained teeth are never going to be in fashion. So we're in a space that, we have that room to grow, and that space to kind of run the marathon versus race the relay or the race. So I would say, yeah, I still have those moments, but I look at it differently. I don't look at it as like, okay, I should be happy where I'm at. Let me be complacent. I'm asking for too much. Instead, it's like, wow, look at how far we've come already. And if we've been able to do this with limited resources and no outside funding and a small team, imagine what we can do in 10 years from now if we just keep this up. And so it's more of like nice view, amazing roses. I love it. And when you guys are ready, let's pack back up. But you got to stop for a water break. You got to stretch your muscles. You got to enjoy the view a little bit. You got to feel good about it. Otherwise, you run the trap of burnout.
So I think this is important about the marathon versus the sprint. Why do you think entrepreneurs, why do you think that they feel this compulsion to sprint when it's almost said everywhere that it is, not everywhere, but like it's pretty common advice now that it is a marathon, but there's still this compulsion to sprint. Why do you think that is?
Well, once I had my Maslow's hierarchy of needs, food, shelter, security covered, sometimes, people are working a job that covers that for them. And so they're able to moonlight working on their business. Understanding that it is a marathon versus a sprint. And if you sprint too often, you will burn out and it will hurt you. You can sprint inside of the marathon. Certainly there are times for that. But just realizing that life is long, and like, it's the overnight success story is very, very rare, if ever. And, understanding that, looking at some of my favorite businesses and that they were built over a period of 30 years. And you look at Apple and you look at, even a lot of people say, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, people they look up to, John Paul DeJoria from Patron and Paul Mitchell hair care systems. You look at it, it's a 30-year marathon. And sometimes companies go through even bankruptcies and multiple things that happen throughout that before they're the ubiquitous name that everybody knows. So that builds character and that makes you stronger, and things don't get easier, they get harder, but you can get better. And just taking that approach of saying, okay, I will never be broke again. I have a skill set. I can always go get a job. I can always figure something out. And just saying, I don't want to burn out. I want to do this right. And it's more important for me to be in business 30 years from now than it is to have, an overnight success or a one-hit wonder. And to just be conscious of that, especially when you bring on a team or you have other people working with you, the last thing you want to do is burn out those incredible people, especially the people early on who are taking a leap of faith to maybe take a salary cut to work with you and all of that, and have respect for the marathon. And if you do that and you understand that you can't hike Mount Everest in a day, and it's dangerous in many aspects, right? So just thinking of it that way, the compulsion is natural. I still fight it today, where sometimes like, oh, there's an opportunity here, let's jump on it. Sure, certain times you got to run, you got to sprint. But the majority of the race is a marathon, and it's about endurance, and it's about resilience, and bouncing back, adapting along the way, being conscious of that. So once I realized that the entrepreneurs who I really look up to have built significant businesses over a long period of time, did not do it overnight, weren't right all the time, and that perfectionism a lot of times leads to disappointment, or leads to burning yourself out or other people out. So just really looking at other people's stories, looking at my own past, and realizing instead of like income hopping or like trying to find trends, or or now drop shipping is really popular, just selling to, which nothing wrong with that, but trying to think of how can I build something for the long haul that is going to be respected for the time we've been in business, growing year over year, and maybe there's a down year, and that's okay. Just really like doing my research to understand that, the media might glamorize overnight success stories, or what seem like overnight success stories. But once you dig deep enough, you'll see that this is not Elon Musk's first rodeo, that he's been doing this for a long, long time. And even what he's working on now with space and energy and vehicles, it's not an overnight sprint. It's something that's going to take a very long time. Even with someone with the resources and past a record and intelligence of someone like an Elon Musk, it still takes time. And so I realize that, and I have to keep telling myself that, so that every time I get the urge to sprint, I have to remember that, is it the time to sprint, to exhaust the energy right now, or do I need to pace myself at this moment in the race?
Yeah, I think a part of it too is just, especially when you're starting something new, there's this need to find out as quickly as possible if you are investing your time in the right thing or not. What's your process? How do you know especially if you're thinking about building something that's going to last 30, 40, 50 years, how do you know if you are investing your time in the right thing or not? Like, are there certain things that you can look for, tests that you can kind of run, or just like thought experiments that help you out to make sure that you are investing your time on the right projects, on the right businesses, on the right things that you're doing throughout your day?
Yeah, I'm still building that formula. I think, month by month, be reviewing where we're at, what we're doing, what we're learning. I think that what I've kind of figured out for myself up until now is that disruption over innovation for us at the point I am in my life and where we are resource-wise, that disrupting. So, for example, you look at the mattress industry and, not creating a whole new behavior. So telling customers or consumers, hey, instead of sleeping on a mattress, sleep on rocks or something like that. That's complete innovation, like out of left field, which high risk, high reward, certainly. But just like if you look at Tesla Motors, they're not saying completely stop driving regular cars. It's like, look at this sexy car. It happens to be powered by, it's an electric powered vehicle, but electric powered vehicles can be sexy as well and premium. And then eventually saying they can be mass market, and then eventually saying they can self-drive because you gain the confidence. But that stuff kind of, takes time. But I look at disruption over innovation is generally a de-risked proposition for an entrepreneur, depending on where they're at in life. Not to say innovation, I applaud and look up to those who challenge to innovate from the ground up. Now, you can certainly innovate within your category, like our new system that we've launched with Snow is completely innovative, but it's disrupting a space where consumers are used to whitening their teeth at home already. They're comfortable with that. So I look at that, and then I also look at market risk and execution risk. And so market risk is something like Bitcoin, where some 16-year-old or me, another 18-year-old in the dorm room, could take me on with $0. That's a market risk that I'm not willing to take at this point in my life. Execution risk, on the other hand, is taking a dormant category like mattresses and saying, or suitcases with a way, and looking at that and saying, okay, how can we disrupt the suitcase industry by making a better product with a better brand experience? And then how can we execute better than the other people that have been in this space and maybe execute faster, but not that a 16-year-old is going to come out with zero funding and be able to completely eradicate our innovation. And so that's a playbook I kind of I'm leaning into right now. And then just understanding if it's something that's going to be around for 10 years. Is it something that we can continue to improve on? Business is tough. So ideally you like what you're working on, even better if you love it. You're obsessed with it. I'm obsessed with every market we go into. I read every research report, and we're constantly learning. We stub our toe, but learning fast and just never giving up. And so if that's how you feel, it's kind of a feeling mixed with that checklist of, is it going to be around for 10 years? Is it a growing category? Is it a shrinking category? Is it something that is being disrupted by the internet, replaced by the internet, robots? Kind of just understanding where my landscape is going to be and what it's going to look like 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And if that's something that I'd be proud of being a part of for 20 years. And if it's not, because I could certainly make a lot more money if that's what I was looking for, doing a lot of other things, right? There are a lot of other industries that I could enter where it's much more lucrative out the gate, where I'm not having to reinvest every dollar and I can go into all this stuff. But for me, it's about that purpose, that vehicle for purpose, and for building a team for the long haul. And so that's kind of what I look at. It's not a perfect answer, but it at least will help people get to that. And you don't have to get to it overnight. I was building websites for clients, and making my money that way, so I didn't have to work a normal job, and then eventually hedging my risk by creating my own projects. And so those started to take off. So it was still an 8-year process. But I eventually got to a point where I was like, I want to do something that I could do for a long period of time in a growing space where I potentially have an unfair advantage. So if you're a dentist, I happen to be friends with incredible dentists, celebrity dentists, and I had jaw surgery on myself. So I spent so much time researching. I wanted to be in medical school, so I love researching medical papers and the market. So that all led to me having not a huge unfair advantage from the start, but a slight enough, at least for the fact that I was passionate and interested in what we were working on. And that's very important, early on, but even throughout the way.
Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying the show, please leave us a review on iTunes and let us know what you think or what you'd like to hear more of. Now, let's get back to the interview. So we talked a bit about the limiting beliefs. So on the flip side of it, do you feel like there's a particular trait or attribute about your personality that has kept you on this path to success? And like, if you didn't have this particular trait, you would not be where you are today?
Oh yeah, for sure. I would say that in 2 words, chase difficulty. So I'm someone who chases difficulty throughout my life. I am competitive, but I'm not outwardly competitive. And if that makes sense, I'm very in my own head in terms of, for example, graduating university in 2 years wasn't because anyone pressured me to do so. It wasn't because I won an award or gained recognition or wanted recognition for it. It was simply, one, my business needed me. I wanted to get a degree. I wanted to go to university. And I want to do it for me, my family, my future family, the community, and something that I was passionate about. But I realized that if I took 22 credits a semester, I could get it done sooner. So I'm constantly adding more and more to my plate. And I try not to be too hard on myself. It's more of like a game. Like, can I do 10 meetings today? Like, can I knock 5 things off my to-do list? So I'm chasing difficulty, and I've tricked my mind to really almost lust after it. Like, it's like, it gets me so excited to be like, ooh, that's challenging. Where, other people, if you don't, you can train your mind to do this. I wasn't born with this, but I learned that if I chase difficulty instead of chase simplicity, that it will build an inherent moat. I'll learn from it. I'll get better. I may stub my toe. It might hurt. It might be painful while I'm going through the process. But next time I face it, I'm going to have that much better of a time going through it. And so anytime something bad happens or something's difficult in front of me, sure, it's easy to ignore it or just say, I want to watch TV, or I just want to sleep in, or let's just avoid it and go the easier route. Instead, I'm like, let's figure this out, because clearly the people that have figured this out went through the same process. There's clearly a solution, and it's going to make us stronger. And I think that my whole team has really adopted that mindset to say, oh, this is really difficult. Instead of raising my hand and giving up, let's do it. Let's go through it. Let's not go around it. Let's not go over it. Let's go through it. And that means that sometimes it is painful, but chasing difficulty, resiliency, not giving up. I will never give up. That's something that I've really drilled into myself. I would never, ever give up on my team, on my customers, on our mission. And you pair that with hard work and, an obsession for wanting to build something that people appreciate and experience, and something that you appreciate. You've got a pretty good formula for success, in my opinion.
So when you talk about chasing difficulty, it sounds like you're saying you're trying to add a lot to your plate. How do you balance this with focus, or is that not in the equation for you? Like, how do you make sure that you're not diverting your focus away from what will move you closer to your goals?
Well, so I think that mastery is found and developed through depth. That's in my opinion. And so you need focus in order to reach the depth where mastery lies. And so for me, I am chasing difficulty so that I can dive deeper and deeper. And if I never give up, I'm 26 years old. If I am fortunate to live another 60 years of my life, I think for 60 years, I can chase more and more difficult things. The difference is every year I hopefully get better. I learn from my mistakes, other people's mistakes. And I'm hopefully only going to get better, which means I can take on bigger challenges. And that's the way I kind of frame my life. And I balance that with health and, taking free time and mental space and reading and hanging out with friends. And I certainly have a great social life. So I certainly balance it as best as I can. Sometimes there isn't balance, and that's okay. And that's temporary. But I'm cognizant of it. I try to be as cognizant as I can of that. But I would say, focus. Bill Gates and Warren Buffett both said the same word, focus, is the one word they would recommend to entrepreneurs. And it's so easy with today, with the low barriers of entry of starting 100 different stores, that you want to try different things. And that's okay. The earlier on, that's okay. What I found out, though, is that once you lock in on something, if you look at all the channels that Snow is on, just from advertising and marketing alone, we're on every channel that we want to be on right now. And there's 20 more that we would like to be on. And there's just so much to do within one business that you'll always have something to do. And so it's like SEO, Pinterest, retailers, patents, accounting, team building, so much going on that I never check all the boxes from my task list for the day. Like, that's just, I've accepted that I'll never have inbox zero, but I'm as close as I can. Priority kind of takes leeway to urgency and priority together. And I'm going to get done what needs to get done by the end of the day as best as I can. And you realize that within one business or even one product, you have a never ending list for the next 50 years to do stuff. And you realize that really what you're seeking for validation from the market. You're seeking growth. And if you find that you can do that with focus, which is the truth, in any industry, there are 1,000 industries other than oral care that this applies to, and maybe many more, where if you just focus on, bathroom supplies, tires, whatever that, and it doesn't have to be a product, it could be a service, that you'll have enough to do inside of one focused project for a very, very long time. And then the fun stuff starts to happen, because people get really good at starting from 0 to 0.5 or 0 to 1, but from 1 to 100 is really where the difficulty, the extreme difficulty lies, and beyond that. And that's what I'm chasing. So for me, people might get good at beating Super Mario Brothers, levels 1 through 10, or Candy Crush levels 1 through 10. But if you like the game that you're playing and you want to be on the leaderboard, you have to keep playing that game. You can't switch between 20 different games, because then you'll be on 50 different leaderboards at the very bottom. But if you want to be on one leaderboard near the top, you have to play that game consistently for 20 years and get better and better at it. And doing levels 1 through 10 are no longer fun, because it feels like you have a cheat code doing 1 through 10. It's no longer as fun as it used to be, where, going higher levels is where the excitement comes from.
Got it. So you chase difficulty down the same focus path. That makes sense. Okay, so I feel like we spend a lot of time equipping our entrepreneurship mindset, ready enough to talk the tactics of everything that you've done. So let's talk about Snow. Where did the idea come from?
So I was, I had braces multiple times in my life. I mentioned that I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars on lots of teeth whitening. I tried everything I could find. I've tried for teeth whitening, because for me, I was a bit self-conscious of my smile growing up. I had an underbite growing up, and eventually, went in for surgery. And I kind of became friends with my dentist and oral surgeon. And, they would see me come in on a Wednesday in the middle of the day, and they're like, "You're not in school." I was like, "Well, I graduated." And they're like, "Well, I see the cars you're pulling up in, what do you do?" So I would start to share with my medical professional what I would do. And then we started becoming friends. And as I was looking for categories I wanted to disrupt and really stick to for a long period of time, I knew that I needed a big category. And oral care was something I was researching so much already, because I was going into jaw surgery and braces and all these procedures being done on my teeth. I recognized an opportunity for me to essentially put my life savings into an industry I was intrigued by. It kind of paid some homage back to me wanting to be a medical school, and and learning as much as I could in that industry, and realizing there was an opportunity for us to create something that was radically different, hopefully radically better. And I kind of realized the selfie has put a lot of attention on the smile on the face. And so you see a rise in makeup and skincare. And I kind of saw that the oral care market was kind of being neglected in terms of technology, true technology, not anything like gimmicky or anything like that, true technology, true design. I said, I've been selling beauty products for a long time. My background's in programming and technology. I love high fashion. I love luxury products. And I said, what if I could combine all of those interests in a seemingly dormant category that I could grow in for 50 years? And oral care, you kind of lined up with that. I had a lot of resources, the dentist and everyone who I became friends with, that I could tap into and kind of get research from and learn from and get help from. So it just kind of all came together. And as I started doing more and more research, I realized that we had a really good opportunity in front of us if we wanted to take it on, but it wasn't going to be easy. Still isn't easy. I don't plan it to ever be easy. But that, again, I'm chasing difficulty in a place I can be in for 50 years, where we can be the market leader in our space. And I thought about, when was the last time I was excited to buy toothpaste? Never. I said, why can't I be excited? Just like I get excited about buying a mattress now because it comes in a box. Why can't this market be disrupted? And why can't we be the one to do it? And, it just matched my timing. It matched my resources. It matched kind of where I wanted to be, and kind of stumbled into Snow with teeth whitening initially. We're still very much known for our teeth whitening system. We just launched our new system. But we also are launching, toothpaste and floss and many, many other products that our customers are asking us for. And we're really excited to bring to market. And so I realized that we have an opportunity to continue to create and innovate products and market products for a long period of time. And we're never going to give up, no matter what comes at us, how big or how small, we are never going to give up this mission. And if that means that right now we're a self-funded, totally bootstrapped, zero outside money business, if that means that I have to, raise a ton of money, hundreds of millions of dollars, Smile Direct Club is looking at an IPO. That's exciting. Whatever that means for us, I'm not doing this for myself. I'm doing this for the market. I'm doing this for the entrepreneurship community. I'm doing this because I feel like I have nothing else I could do in terms of that would keep me up at night like this does, and excitement. I have the toys, I have the stuff that I wanted, and it didn't bring me the happiness that snow brings me. And so for me, this is my life's passion. This is my life's work. And to be able to open the kimono and share that with entrepreneurs along the way, whether it's getting bullied by, bigger companies trying to keep us out, or whether it's whatever we're going through, I try to share that with other entrepreneurs to say, look, I'm going through this too. Here's the truth. Here's what's happening. Here's where we're at. And being as transparent as I can. And it's become a part of my identity. And it's become part of my life mission now. But that was just a result of saying, I see an opportunity. We have some unfair advantages compared to maybe other people in the space. Can we take advantage of those unfair advantages to get a head start? And now with, over 10 million people who shopped our website, just our online store, and dentists who sell our product, med spas who sell our product, and now retailers who want to carry our product, we're like, okay, we're on to something. We just can never give up, because we know now the market wants us, and the industry wants us in terms of the retailers and our partners. And once it kind of it creates a life of its own, you are now its caretaker, and I've become kind of a servant to what has become Snow and what is becoming Snow. And that's kind of exciting, because it's no longer your baby. It's thousands of entrepreneurs who follow me. It's their baby too. They want to see the little guy win, whatever that means. And our partners and our customers, we have an incredible returning customer rate, even though we don't push subscription plans. And so we know that we're on to something. We love what we're doing, and it gives me life. And I can't put a dollar price on that, that I can't put, because I've gone through burnout. I've experienced, a little bit of, I guess, depression when I felt like I didn't have a purpose or anything like that. And this is, entrepreneurship is everything to me. It gives me life. And Snow is a vehicle that I hope to be a part of for the rest of my life.
That's amazing. So you believe in this so much, and you saw the vision for so far out that you were willing to invest a hefty amount. I think you mentioned that you invested lots of your savings into the research and development of that first system. So what kind of R&D was required to get this thing off the ground?
Well, initially, it was maybe $100,000-$200,000 to test the initial product and kind of test a couple of the disruptions we wanted to do to the teeth whitening space, and kind of understand, where the market could, where the market had room to grow, and all of that. And so that was the initial set. And then we've reinvested nearly every dollar back into the business, millions of dollars at this point, to continue to mature, hire better and better people, better law firms, better accounting firms, better team members, better software, better marketing, all of that. And as a result, we feel like we're a tiny peanut compared to where we would like to be, but we've made so much traction in the last 3 years. I decided to go all in and double down, and and still haven't raised any outside funding. We do get a ton of inbound interest from a lot of different firms and agencies who are starting to see what we see, and starting to see that Snow is truly unique, and truly has unique positioning that other companies would have a very, very hard time mimicking, or would become a me too. And so once that kind of starts to take fold, it's another layer of excitement, because other people want to see you win. They want to put a lot of money behind you to see you win. And all of a sudden, you want to put all your money on this horse, because it just keeps winning the race, and you want to make sure that it's taken care of. And so now, on a very philosophical level, because of the external support from the community, and from the VC community, and from retailers and partners, and internationally, now it's like, okay, how can I really go all in? And so now it's like I would put any amount of money into this business, because we're also trying to prove a point too, that a small company could rise in a dormant, competitive, really commoditized business and build a brand that is around for a very long time. And so I haven't exercised any of those opportunities yet in terms of external funding and certain things like that. And we've also never been to a trade show. We get all of our retail inbound has been inbound retail interest, and all of our sales have been generated mostly by ourselves. I mean, 95% of our sales have been generated, by our own two hands. And really, our customers have been our investors since day one. And we've been fortunate to be able to put all that money back into research and development. And we'll continue to do so until we feel that our products are truly something that we're proud of.
So obviously you're working at a much larger scale than I think a lot of people that are listening. But when it comes to reinvesting, how do you know where to put your money to that in a way where it will add more, gas to the fire?
Well, certainly sales and marketing are key because that's without revenue, it's hard to grow a business, and without profit, if you're self-funded like we are to this point, you have to make sure that if you're putting $1 in, you're at least getting $1 back. And so being really diligent on what is the next best affordable step. We'd love to do a Super Bowl commercial, this coming year, but it may not be in our line of sight for this year, maybe next year, maybe the following year. But just understanding what's next, what's best, and what's affordable at the stage of the business. And so, reinvesting has been very, very key for us because we're picking areas that we believe will either add to the customer experience or to the revenue growth of our business, ideally both. And so whether it's packaging, whether it's customer support, we're continually breaking our customer support because when we scale, we realize that we need a stronger supply chain. We need more and more inventory. We fulfill every single package ourselves, to every single customer. And so reinvesting in the team, hiring the right people, customer service, customer experience, packaging, marketing, advertising, branding, those things are key for us. Supporting our retail partners, our dental offices, our med spas, things that we believe that if we put $1 in now, we might not make $1 in tomorrow, but we believe is going to raise the brand value of when people think of Snow. We get in front of 15 million American consumers every month through our advertising channels online. And one day we hope that to be 100 million people a month. So just reinvesting in places that work. So just straight up math, put in $1.50 comes back. Okay, that's good enough. We can cover our costs. Then we can keep growing and we can keep learning from our customers, and then reinvesting in our customers themselves, whether that's promotions, new products that they're asking for, extending our product line, extending our frontline customer support, extending our marketing team, and then continuing to reinvest into the brand so that we continue our great traction. We don't ever want to lose that traction. What that looks like on the growth numbers doesn't matter, but if we are continuing to earn the business of our customers and treat them better and better, every 6 months, every 3 months, every month, then we're moving in the right direction. And we haven't been perfect, right? We're learning. We had a massive holiday season last year, and it overwhelmed our customer support team. It overwhelmed our fulfillment staff. It overwhelmed our inventory. It overwhelmed a lot of things, and it broke a few things. But we move fast, we break things, and we try to fix them as fast as we can. And we try not to compromise our products or our customer experience along the way.
So speaking of reinvesting in places that will give you an immediate return, like in sales and marketing, you mentioned earlier about the channel mixes that are most effective per business, per industry. How do you begin answering that question? For someone out there that is trying to figure out how to invest their money when it comes to advertising, how do they figure out what's the right channel mix for them?
Well, the right channel mix for us hasn't changed too much. It's evolving now as we move into offline and we move into a much more regulated environment where we have to beef up our resources and on every single front. It's talking to the customer, so that customer, each customer is an investor of ours. That's how we look at it. Someone who took out money to trust into our product. We haven't been around 50 years. We're not oh, of course that works type product. We have to, even though we have an amazingly low refund and return rate because our product simply works, we talk to our customers. We try to get them on the phone whenever we can to learn about them. Why did they buy? What would make them buy again? What products would they like to see from us? That's invaluable research that we'd have to pay a research firm a lot of money to try to figure out. Instead, we just call our customer and say, how's it going? Thank you. What made you buy? What would you like to buy from us? What would make you share with your friends? Is there anything missing from your order? So talking to customers is key because then you get referrals. So our referral program is very strong. We're building a very strong community of our Snow ambassadors, our Snow family who recommend the products on Instagram and Facebook to their friends and family. SEO is still a pretty strong staple of our business. And then, of course, you have the more expensive channels like Facebook and Instagram and Google, which are great for generating new customers and getting in front of new people and hopefully earning the right to for them to come back. And so, our mix right now is pretty diverse. I mean, we're on Pinterest, we're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. We just finished a case study with Snapchat, with Facebook case study. So we're trying to continue to innovate on the marketing front on those channels. But now we look at retailers, wholesale accounts, dental offices, med spas, international accounts. That's starting to become more and more a part of our conversation when we look at massive, retail partnerships like department stores and cosmetic stores and all of that. And then, the thousands of dental offices, who can sell our product, and med spas and hair salons. So that just starts to grow and grow. And then eventually, our own pop-up stores and our own retail outlets. And, so the list goes on and on. But right now, it doesn't differ too much from 3 years ago when we started, which is talking to the customer, learning from them, getting them excited, and giving them an opportunity to earn a little bit of money if they want to share the product. And if you do that, it starts to compound, and no pun intended, the snowball effect. It really does start to snowball over time.
Got it. So let's take it back to the beginning. How did you guys launch the business? Like, what was the launch plan to get Snow out into the marketplace?
So we spent a lot of time on our formulation. I worked with our team of experts, our dentists, our oral surgeons, our orthodontists, who are friends of mine, to test the formula out in person, test it on patients, and give me raw feedback with no strings attached, and continue to just innovate on that. And then reading as many reviews as we could from our customers, but also from other products that are already on the market, and then launching on Facebook and Instagram, and getting in front of an audience who we believe would be interested in our product. And then again, just rinse and repeat. So early on, Facebook and Instagram continue to be more and more expensive every single quarter. And I get it. So you have to become more and more disruptive with the type of advertising you're doing and really innovate on the type of creative and all of that. Your product truly has to work. You have to get it to the customer fast. And as those channels become more and more expensive, we start to open up additional channels. As an agile company, we're able to move quickly and aggressively with very large marketing budgets to be able to put behind it now. But early on, it was Facebook ads, Instagram ads, talking to our customers, looking at the reviews on Amazon of other products, continuing to iterate upon our product, our formulation, until we got to a point where our complaint rate was low enough that we felt like we could scale. And then expanding on Google, expanding on any channel we think could work, whether it's Pinterest ads, Reddit ads, Snapchat ads, giving it a shot and seeing if it fits our product market at the moment. And if it works, just putting more coal in the fire.
And you mentioned that the retail partners that you have are mostly inbound. How did that happen? How come people are able to just find out about you and start contacting you for these kind of retail partnerships?
Well, I think that when people are looking for products, depending on where they're at, and that happens a lot with demographics. So if you're someone who is a lot younger, you're a teenager or something like that, you don't have you might not have the your own budget, or you might feel uncomfortable asking your parents to spend, over $100 on a teeth whitening product. Or, our products are definitely affordable, but they're certainly premium. So it's a premium product that we come out with in every single product we launch, whether it's our anti-aging lip care line or teeth whitening systems. It's a premium product. So I think that naturally played well to the good, better, best kind of scenario, where generally people will try good product, they'll move to a better product, and eventually they'll move to a best product. And I look at my friends who have had success and kind of have the budget to maybe shop in that best category. It doesn't mean the best always costs that much more, but they have their briefcase that they've had for 10 years, and they spent $1,000 on it, but it's something that they cherish. It's something that's valuable to them, and they carry it around, versus maybe a $50 briefcase that breaks every year. So I think because of that, the buyers at the different department stores and cosmetic stores realized that they wanted to have a best product, the best option in a category that maybe has gotten used to good products and maybe better products, and maybe they saw a gap for best products. And I think that our packaging is something we're very, very proud of. It plays very well in a retail environment. It's a demonstrable product. Seeing it in person makes you want to buy it that much more. And then having the online push. I mean, we get so much traffic to our website and in front of our product that it drives that in-store demand like crazy. And so you see Target teaming up with brands like Harry's, and we've been called the Harry's of oral care. You see them teaming up with Casper. And so you see these retailers understanding the value of having an upstart, a disruptor in their store to drive foot traffic and to invigorate the brand experience as a retailer, and kind of partnering up with those upstarts. So I think that as they look category by category, hopefully when they look at oral care, we're standing out as a contender for something that would look good on shelves, move product because of our demand. And really the issue we face, and the reason why I believe we're not 10 times bigger right now, is because we're not in every store. We're not in a place you can go pick us up or try out the product or touch and feel it. And we believe that's a huge opportunity for us. And I think that experienced buyers understand that. They see that. They buy the product. Most of our buyers who reach out to us have used the product for several months and said that it's the best thing they've ever tried. It's truly unique, amazing packaging. And they see the revenue opportunity for the store. They see the brand experience opportunity. And they get excited by the products we're coming out with and the marketing we're doing. And I can't help but believe, our celebrity customers and those who promote the product, who are A-list celebrities, also help drive that brand awareness and de-risk it for a retail buyer.
Yeah, speaking of celebrities, you mentioned to us that celebrity marketing is a channel that has worked well for you. And, this is definitely, it sounds like a scale above the typical influencer marketing that a lot of stores are adding to their mix. When it comes to approaching celebrities to work with them to be kind of, representatives of your brand, of your products, do you have to approach them differently than you would, as a more typical influencer?
Yeah, I mean, you have essentially three buckets. That's how we put them in buckets. So you have your micro influencer, who's generally our customer, who wants to share the product on social media. They're excited, they love it, and they want an opportunity to earn, either snowflakes, so they can cash in for more products like points, or or make money promoting the product, just because they're excited about talking about it. Most of our customers talk about the product and are not a part of our ambassador program. They just love talking about it. They're excited. A lot of times they say they're excited for the first time about oral care and they're, all that. So that's a micro influencer category, someone with maybe less than 10,000 followers. Then you have your medium influencers. I would categorize that anywhere between 100,000 to 1 million followers now, because of the maturity of the social media platforms, Facebook and Instagram and Snap. And so those medium influencers are generally people who we either reach out to because we feel that they match our brand aesthetic. We think that they would like our product. We always send our product to our influencers, no matter the size, because we want to make sure that they're confident of the product, that they know that they're going to feel confident promoting it and they're going to use it. Otherwise, we've turned down so many deals that were in the pipeline because the influencer, quote unquote, was not using the product. They may be a fan of the product, but they weren't using it. And it's very hard to sell something or talk about something or be excited about something that you're simply being paid to talk about. We're not a fan of that model. It certainly can work. But a lot of our micro and medium or inbound people that are customers or are looking for a product they can get behind and feel confident, and they find Snow. And honestly, a lot of our A-list, macro influencers, 1 million plus, are customers first. And we'll reach out to them and say, hey, it's been a few months. Have you had the opportunity to use the product? We'll reach out to the management team, whoever ordered. We have a tool on Shopify called User Gems, which will sort by the amount of followers the customer has. And we'll reach out and say, hey, did you get the product? Is there anything we can assist with? Do you like the product? And that kind of opens a conversation to say, is this a product you can get behind publicly? Is this something that we can do a campaign together, or maybe launch products in conjunction with you? And if that conversation continues, then it starts to make a lot of sense. And I think that you look at, Floyd Mayweather, for example, the deal we did with Floyd Mayweather, he was a fan of the product, and the team was a fan of the product. And, that was a great opportunity because Floyd and his team were looking for a product, an American company that had, a certain level of aesthetic, a certain level of quality that Floyd wanted to get behind. And so in those scenarios, we just kind of facilitate the conversation. But if it's someone we're reaching out to who's an A-list, we have some in the pipeline who are incredibly, massively popular A-list celebrities. And I can't name them because we're working on them right now. Usually I'd name everybody, but we're excited about it because a couple of them are people we reached out to that we feel match the brand for the next 10 years. And we believe can not just be product endorsers and brand ambassadors, but actual partners of ours, whether that means investors of ours or, partners of ours on an equity scale or licensing deals. So we start to open that up and understand the world of licensing and partnering with celebrities, and that kind of marketing. We don't look for a direct ROI on. We're not looking for a promo code and how much did that promo code generate or anything like that. We're determining, does it match our brand, where we're going? And some celebrities we've worked with in the past no longer match where the brand is going. And so we're not, we're kind of slowing down how we work with those celebrities and looking for new celebrities who do match our brand 10 years from now and that we want to, quote unquote, get in bed with. And if they're excited about our product. So it's a mix of outbound, reaching out to managers, agents, just really surveying the field, seeing what other brands are doing and seeing if that celebrity matches who our customer is and who our customer will be, and someone we believe matches. And then we send them the product. We send their team the product. If they're happy with the products, if they see what we see, then we'll continue the conversation and try to figure out how we can work together. Otherwise, we try to turn our customers into advocates if they're a fan of the product. And the medium influencers are, a mix of either we're reaching out to them because we come across them on the Instagram Explorer feed, or we follow other brands, tanning brands or whatever it may be. And we say, wow, that guy or girl has a certain style of the way they post and the things they talk about, or a vlogger who talks about certain things. Let's see if we can send them some product and see if we can start a conversation on if they'd be interested in becoming an ambassador of ours. Really kind of organic. We don't have like one tool we use to find everybody or do everything. The majority of our business still takes place on Google Sheets. I mean, we still use a spreadsheet to keep track of a lot of these deals because it's not just about the quantity, it's also the quality, because we're trying to build a brand that's going to be around for a long time.
Amazing. So Snow is a company at trysnow.com. And I'll leave you this last question. What is the biggest lesson that you learned last year that you want to apply this year?
Thinking bigger. It's a constant theme in my life and on our company's life. Thinking bigger and aiming bigger, meaning, going for bigger partners, thinking about offline the way we think about online in a similar way in terms of scale. And instead of just saying, no, we're never going to be an offline brand, saying, how can offline complement our online and vice versa? And really just thinking bigger. And then in terms of product line extension, and saying, we're not just a teeth whitening brand. We're not just a lip care brand. We really are a personal care brand that's focused on oral care. And how can we reimagine all the products down that aisle and create a unique experience for our customers? And international, how can we, bring our products to our international customers in a great way? And then leveling up, thinking bigger and leveling up our resources. So leveling up who we're working with, leveling up our packaging, leveling up our technology, leveling up our office, leveling up our legal staff, our accounting, just being willing to think a lot bigger and longer term. And I know that sounds paradoxical to everything I've aforementioned, but it really is something that is a constant theme. And last year we really learned that people really, they don't just want teeth whitening. Our customers want snow. They don't just want toothpaste, they want snow. And realizing that we have a responsibility to stay in business and to continue growing for as long as we can. If that's 50 years, that's great. If that's 100 years, great. If that's 10 years, great. To be in business and grow for our customers is something that we're instituting now as we look at additional products, beefing up our resources, internationalizing our brand, and being willing to challenge ourselves with those bigger goals and being willing to do whatever it takes to make those happen.
Amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on, Josh. Amazing story and very inspirational story as well. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing your experience.
Thank you, Felix. It's been a treat. Thank you so much.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Shopify Masters, the e-commerce podcast for ambitious entrepreneurs powered by Shopify.